Folks, welcome to the first official coffee talk of the 2020 year. This one is dance devoted, and thanks to Brenda Daniels, the Associate Dean of Dance, for being with us. Corey McLean will also be joining us with the calendar, which is key. We've set up these second semester program specific coffee talks, sort of anticipating the run to graduation, the spring performance schedule, what to expect. We intend for it to be a resource for senior parents as they're thinking about their students sort of moving on from UNCSA or continuing into the college, but we can certainly field any manner of dance questions. I'll remind you that we're going to do a general student affairs focused coffee talk next Friday that will also have the ability to participate remotely, and I'll be sending out reminders for that one tomorrow, as well as graduation details with the link to the place on the website with all that information. But we can still answer any of those questions today. Just a reminder for the folks at home or in the office or in the coffee shop, if you want to email a question in, Brock is on his email, so you can email Brock Snyder, snyderb@uncsa.edu. I am on the feed here, and if you have a Gmail account, you can use the chat feature to send a question that way, so I'll be monitoring that here. And without further ado, welcome again, Happy New Year, and we'll take your questions.
Can we start with questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Yeah. Okay, so tell me about as you said, the calendar. I know Claire heard something about some something that apparently is different than winter dance. I don't know what any of that
Okay.
means, like when that is, because that's not on the school calendar, right?
It is not.
Okay.
My calendar has run.
Perfect timing.
So basically, we divide spring semester in two, and there's a block of time in the first half that incorporates winter dance, which is the main stage production at the Stevens Center, and that has 2 ballet pieces and 2 contemporary pieces.
Okay.
It will tax my memory to say exactly what those are. Now I can remember. We're doing an act of Sleeping Beauty and a new contemporary ballet by Stephanie Martinez is the ballet portion. We're doing a piece by Robert Battle, who is the director of Alvin Ailey, American Dance Theater. And in fact, he will be here next week. He's our big Lucia Chase Fellow. The Lucia Chase Fellow, every year we get some money to bring in a luminary in the dance world to give a masterclass or talk to students. So Robert is coming to do a Q&A with the students and talk about his career, and also to coach one of the rehearsals of his piece, which will be done in winter dance. And the fourth piece in winter dance will be by a Dutch choreographer named Anouk van Dijk. She is the mentor of one of our full-time faculty members, Kira Blazik Zai. So winter dance happens in February, 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 1st of March. So again, that is in the Stevens Center. The week after winter dance is over will be our smaller workshop performance for students who are not in main stage. And that will be on Wednesday, March 4th. And there's a showing at 2 and a showing at 4 in DeMille. No tickets, just come early, get your seats. Spring break is the week after that, and then we repeat that whole kind of deal again in the spring portion of spring semester. Again, there's a spring dance concert with 4 pieces. And that will be April 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. Same thing, following Wednesday, we'll have the smaller production for students not in the main stage. That will be in the Friedman Theater, which is on campus, the Performance Place. And again, same thing, there'll be a showing at 2 and a showing at 4. So that's the performance calendar. In addition, we're just having a really busy semester with guest artists. Lauren Anderson is here today. She was a ballerina with Houston Ballet. She's doing a Q&A with students today and doing a couple master classes. We have all kinds of outside auditions happening at the school every weekend for a number of ballet summer intensives, a few contemporary. We had an audition yesterday for a contemporary summer program, Northwest Dance Theater. Nashville Ballet is doing a master class on Friday and their audition on Saturday. So it's a really busy time of year. And as well, our high school students are going out to do their college auditions. So I just want to remind parents, I'll remind the students, that for those kind of professional exemptions for the School of Dance, there is a form that they fill out outside of Corey's office, and they just have to do it in a timely way. Once they know they're going to go on out and audition, get the form, fill it out, get the teacher's signatures, and then bring it to me for final approval. And they get those classes are excused when they're out. Within reason, like we'll work with students. Generally, 6 days missing is kind of our outer limit, but if there's more, we'll just work with the students to make sure that they can get what they need, so. Did that answer your question about
And follow-up
performances?
to that is,
Yes.
at the end of the semester, is there an intensive arts kind of week like they had? No,
There
that's
is
only-
not.
okay.
That is only in the fall. The end of the year kind of is a little bit staggered. The college students finish before the high school students do academically. So the college students are done as of May 7th is the last day of college exams. The high school continues on into the next week with the high school exams. So arts classes end before college exams, but then after that, we will run technique classes for high school students only until they're in exams, and then they have their exams and then commencement. So. You're welcome.
So after that graduation date that's listed on the calendar, you could get your wisdom teeth out. Okay. Good.
And if your student is not a senior, of course, they would be done as soon as their last exam is over, so.
Yeah, we have AP exams even on that Friday, May 15th. The last one is I think it's still AP Stats, which I love to say. We bus the seniors to Stevens Center for graduation rehearsal, and then we bus the AP Stats kids back early for the noon AP Stats exam. Which is just awesome. Well, awesome that we have
AP stats.
dancers and
Right.
visual artists and actors and musicians hustling back for their AP Stats exam.
Okay, I'll ask another one. Sure. So,
Thanks, Eileen.
okay. Summer. So what's the process if they're interested in any of the summer programs, specifically some of there was I think I saw a week-long choreographic one?
You
Or
mean
s-
our own summer
Mhm.
programs? We will do a blast to our students from our summer school director. His name is Ashley Lindsay. He's an alum of our program, or our contemporary program, and he's directing our summer programs now, which we have a 5-week ballet intensive, we have a 5-week contemporary intensive, and then there's some shorter intensives geared toward older students. I think that maybe they have to be over 18 to
She
do
will be
those
18.
because of the housing situation. But we'll blast the information on all the programs to our current students so they can see
Okay.
if any of that might be of interest to them.
Okay, and then do they just go through the regular application process, whatever that would be for that?
They would, and Ashley can answer that question as well.
Okay,
They don't have to audition, but they would have to apply.
Okay.
Yep. We encourage our students, sometimes it works out for them to do our program, but we also love when they go away and do other programs and get some fresh perspectives and different faculty. And, some of these shorter intensives that we do are not with a full-time faculty. They're with professionals from the field that come in, and they generally fall between when school ends and when the big summer programs start, so it's good for students that want to just continue training.
For a few, yeah.
Yeah,
But
for a
that
few
kind of-
weeks.
those weeks.
A week or
in
2
between.
weeks. Yep. Anything coming in?
I said, it's all I've got. Somebody else has to pick up the slack.
Well, I just did.
And there are 30 people watching.
Oh, good.
So,
Well, my senior had everything under control until we got back to school with his future. Now he's like freaking out. So I would love to be able to assist him, but he wants to be auditioning for things, which we're looking at different places and all of that, but I don't know, should he try to go to one of his faculty members and get advice or what? I mean, what should he do now that he's freaking out completely?
Yeah, no, we definitely encourage students to go to their main technique teacher is considered the go-to person because they see that person the most. So they should just approach that teacher and make an appointment to talk and get some advice about summer or career or the future, what that teacher sees them doing. That teacher may direct them to another teacher or even to the dean if they think that would help the student. But yeah, we encourage them to do that because, teachers, we want to give them advice.
Sure. I just didn't know what
They
the
shouldn't be shy.
protocol was for that.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't believe he is shy about it, because he's not shy of anything in his life, but yeah, okay.
I also want to say that we're looking at a couple of field trips that students can sign up for. Alvin Ailey is performing, I think in Chapel Hill in March. We'll be running a trip there, and ABT will be in Durham also in March, and we'll be running a trip there. So students should, look at the boards to see when those signups are
Dr. Graham
posted.
in January?
I think Graham, I don't know if we're going to get it together to do a trip there.
And how
I just
does
found
that-
out about that.
How does that work with commuters? Same thing, they just sign up and you
Yep.
just go
Yep.
for that?
I have 3 questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo.
You got a couple here.
Okay. Okay, the question is, it looks like very few high school contemporary students are in the spring or winter dance. Do they have any opportunity to interact with visiting artists if they're not in the dances? So again, it depends on the guest. Robert Battle, it's his piece, he'll be here next week. All the students are invited to a Q&A with him, with the exception of 9th and 10th graders. Just given the academic schedule for our 9th and 10th graders, they have so little flexibility with their schedule. It does not jive with the 11th, 12th, and college schedule, so we just sometimes have to make a choice like that. But of course, all contemporary students are on an 11th grade schedule, so all contemporary students, high school and college, are able to come to these Q&As that we do with the guests. There are a few high school contemporary students who are in winter dance and spring dance. It's just that population is quite small compared to the overall contemporary population. We have a lot more college contemporary students than high school, so the proportion would be less that are in the main stage. And a lot of our contemporary high school students are brand-new students this year. And those that are looking at the cast list will most often notice that students who have been here 3 or 4 years make up the majority of students cast because they're the most trained in general, so.
4 questions. Can a current senior student take summer classes here?
In dance?
I assume, yes.
Yes, and any current student is welcome to apply and come to our summer intensive. So that information, would you make a note, please, Corey? I'll ask Ashley Lindsay to send summer information to all of our students if they have interest in coming to our summer program.
Can you please repeat the dates and times of the winter and spring repertory performances?
Do. The winter one is in DeMille, and that will be on Wednesday, March 4th at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. The one at the end of the semester will be in the Friedman Theater, which is in the Performance Place, also on campus. That's the 29th of April, Wednesday. Again, 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
What should we look for when we look at a ballet program in a college?
I have a little bit of expertise in this question because, as all of you out there may or may not know, my daughter did our entire four-year high school ballet program here at UNCSA, and she's now at the University of Utah in their ballet program. And we looked at many different programs. Part of it depends on the student and what they want. My daughter was interested in going to a school that was nothing like here. Because although she loved it here, she's been around here for a lot longer than the 4 years of high school. She's been around here her whole life, and she really wanted to go somewhere far, far away and have a really different environment. She wanted a school that had a football team. She wanted that kind of environment of a big school, which we just don't have here. If you want to see a football game, you don't come to UNCSA. Just be watching it on TV. But other students who are looking do like that smaller, more intimate conservatory atmosphere. So there are a few programs that have that. In ballet, I have to say, in general, I don't know why this happened, but most of the prestigious, well-regarded ballet college programs are in larger universities. A lot of them are in the Midwest. The University of Oklahoma has a great program. Butler University in Indiana has a great program. So the coasts seem to favor contemporary programs more. I don't know why. The middle of the country has more dedicated college ballet programs that are quite well regarded. So again, ask for advice from faculty members, the ballet faculty. They're quite up on good college programs. A lot of the ballet faculty have come from other college programs here. They were at other institutions before they came here, and they can give advice to students on those. But again, to look for what are the alumni doing now? Their website should have a list of their alumni and how many of them are out there with jobs in ballet companies. That's a really good question to ask. Take a look at the faculty. Have they had professional careers, or are they just people who went through that school and got a degree at that school and just started teaching at that school, but don't have a professional background? Because you really want in ballet to be trained by people with a professional background. They have the connections and they have that knowledge that can continue to help students with the goal of getting a job in a company. I'm assuming that's why the question is being asked. Because although the dance world has changed somewhat, it used to be that nobody in ballet ever went to college. You just got a job right out of high school or even before you finished high school. But now it's a little bit different, and companies are hiring older dancers. They're hiring dancers that have had a college degree. A lot of companies have a collaboration with a local college where you can be earning your degree while you're dancing professionally. That is an option for some of our students that just do one course at a time toward their degree, if they are ready to go into a company. So again, it's depending on the student. Do they want to be in a large institution, a small institution, on the coast, in the middle of the country, conservatory only, ability to double major, the financial aid and scholarship, of course, always factors in, has to be taken into consideration. Sometimes private schools that seem out of reach because of how much they cost often have bigger endowments and can offer a much more generous scholarship package, but not always. You just have to look at what's offered.
I'll jump out of
Yeah.
order just to a follow-up
Yeah.
question to that one. If point isn't included in the audition, should that be a concern?
Not always, not always. Some
I
places,
assume.
the audition time is so short, they might not have time just to include point. But I would say it might be a red flag. We always include point in our auditions because you want to make sure that ballet majors coming into your school have enough strength on point to handle the curriculum. And also, if a student is weak on point, that kind of precludes advancing into the profession. So I would look into the school a little bit further just to see if point is included in their curriculum, just to make sure that that would be something that the female students would be getting if they were to enroll in that school.
Brenda, would you be willing to talk about juries for dancers, please?
Sure. This always comes up because it just sounds like such a scary thing. And even though we've changed the name from jury to class review, nobody remembers that we've changed the name. The dean, the faculty, nobody remembers that we actually changed the name. So we still talk about juries and jury week, and we're doing this during juries and this and that. But basically what it is a class review that is not only for the full faculty and dean to look at every student in the school and offer comments and feedback to their teacher to be delivered to the student as part of their midterm evaluation. That's a big part of it. But another big part of it is for the whole faculty and dean to be able to see the faculty teach, which doesn't normally happen on a regular basis, and to see the progression of one level to the next and what we might be doing better and how this teacher is working with this group. So it's a really great time to assess not only the students, but the levels, the faculty, the progression, just for improving the program in general. So students think it's all about them and they're just being looked at and it's just, that's where it begins and ends, but that's not the case. So we're looking at this from multiple vantage points. The students should not worry about it. We do not use it as a crowbar to dislodge a student. If we see things in the jury, we're going to dislodge a student, they would know about it long before the jury, and it would be more likely for academic reasons or residential life reasons. You know what those things are and why they would lead to not returning. So juries are not used as a way to cut a student body or anything like that. It's to assess student progress, faculty progress, and program progress. And the schedule for that, it's always the week before spring break. So it's a busy week because we are doing the workshop performance that week, as well as all the jury classes. Because we have so many groups to look at, the jury classes are only an hour long. So kind of a little bit of a compressed schedule. Where an individual student's jury will fall during that week, I don't know yet, I haven't worked on the schedule, but it'll be sometime that week.
So I've never heard of this. So is it like a different class? It's not in their regular class? Or do the juries, is it a jury, is it like a little posse of 3 or 4 teachers who go into their regular classes? Or is it,
I schedule everybody's class for an hour in Studio A, which is our big studio.
Everybody's
Then the-
class meaning like M1A, M1B?
M1A, M1B, B1, B2,
Okay.
B3, B4, but all the classes get an hour
Okay,
and distributed throughout the week. The entire faculty and dean watch each of those hour-long classes, so everybody sees every student in the school. It's a scheduling nightmare because I can kind of move them around the schedule so that if a student does not have their jury class on any given day, they still have a technique class. So it's just kind of offset throughout the day where the students' juries will be. So everybody still gets their regular class, but once during that week, they get that hour jury where they're seen by everybody.
is it a ballet class?
It's contemporary for contemporary and it's ballet for ballet.
Are there North Carolina dance festivals this winter that the kids can participate in?
Okay, so festival happens during winter dance. This is something the school has done for a long time. It's been done, I've been here 25 years now, and it was going strong when I got to the school. Students from across the state at local studios in North Carolina are invited to campus for the weekend. They pay a small fee. We offer classes all day long for these students, Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, Sunday morning, with our regular faculty and some guests that come in. The students coming from around the state all come to see the Winter Dance Concert on Saturday night. It makes for a really nice, appreciative crowd, fills up the Stevens Center. And then certain studios send a piece with them. So their students bring a dance that's adjudicated, and then they have their own concert on Sunday night in the Stevens Center. So generally about 500 young students from around the state descend on UNCSA for the weekend. Because there are so many students coming from these studios, we've had to say to our own students here, it's just too crowded in the rooms for you guys to take class. Even if it's your old studio, I know, like the students, they just want to join their friends and take class. If a faculty member needs a demonstrator, sometimes we'll ask one of our current students to come to the class or a couple of people to demonstrate. So that's an opportunity. Your students, UNCSA students, can ask their teacher if they're teaching, do you need a demonstrator? That will be one way to participate. But other than that, we encourage our current students just to leave the building after their last class on Friday, before the festival students get there, because, Corey, you know, the hallways, you cannot even walk down the hallway. The studios, they set up little tables with snacks and lunch, and everybody stakes out their territory, and it becomes very difficult to navigate through the building. So I really do encourage the students just to leave.
Are there other North Carolina dance festivals that our kids can participate in? I think that's where this one was going.
Ours is the only North Carolina dance festival that I know about.
Awesome.
There may be others, but I
Well,
don't.
the for summer, the American Dance Festival 3 week.
This was asking about winter.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
Want to alternate, Brian?
Sure. I have two questions. One's about scholarships. How many dance students are on scholarship? And what is the process for achieving a scholarship from UNCSA?
Okay.
What would your advice be for students seeking a scholarship at UNCSA?
Out of our 225 students, over 100 have scholarships here. The faculty and dean determine merit scholarship. There are some scholarships that come through the financial aid office that are based on need. So any student who has need and is interested in scholarship money, student and parents should check in with the financial aid office. But students can definitely approach me and say, I need help to come back next year. Is there anything you can do for me? I keep a running list of students in that position, and I bring that up at this big meeting that we do. We usually do the meeting in March, where we go through the students, we go through the list of scholarships. It's a very complex rubric because we have a number of specific scholarships that come with criteria. This scholarship has to go to a North Carolinian. This scholarship has to go to a college student. This scholarship has to go to a ballet major. So a lot of they're called named scholarships. Donors have put them in their own name or someone's name. They often come with a specific set of criteria that it has to go to this type of student. So we kind of match the money with the student, with students that are doing particularly well, with students that have come to me to say, I really need a little extra help. And so we go through all of that at a big meeting with the dean and faculty in March, and then it kind of gets rolled out. It gets passed along to the financial aid office. They're able to bundle some of the merit money with some need money with students that have submitted the FAFSA and can prove they have need. So again, if the need is there, high school and college can fill out the FAFSA form and submit that to the financial aid office. So that's kind of how the process works with scholarships.
And I had one which I think you just answered yes to. There are merit scholarship opportunities for a current high school student continuing into college, the college program.
So they would be considered a new student if they're going from high school to college. And yes, I can consider them as a new college student for scholarship opportunity.
This one is, we have been taking the college tour that all the parents did last year. I feel like it would be helpful to be able to share notes for future parents. Has anything like this been done in the past? I think I'm understanding sort of collecting impressions of schools and audition experiences.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, we do, like I mentioned at the first coffee talk, the faculty do a college chat with students at the beginning of the year where we bring our own impressions, our own knowledge of various and sundry programs to the table. And we open up the floor for students who have been places, to talk about, what they've noticed or what they've seen. But I think it's a great idea for parents to share amongst themselves. It could help somebody who's not able to get to a certain school at least narrow down the options.
And Brenda, could you please tell us a bit about future careers of dance students from UNCSA? For example, do you have students that advance directly from high school into companies? Or what other career paths might they take?
Okay. A handful of students go from high school to companies. More likely to happen in ballet, where, like I mentioned earlier, although the dance world has changed, there are still a lot of companies that would hire someone right out of high school. A lot of companies want to kind of mold and impress upon that young body their own style, their own way of doing things. So, we have had a handful of students. Some don't even finish high school. They go on to ABT Studio Company or to School of American Ballet, and they're now dancing in either ABT or New York City Ballet. We've had other students leave high school and go to companies in Houston and Boston and some of those major regional companies around the country, as well as some European countries. We've had students graduate out of high school and get taken into companies in Europe and South America. Eric Kim, who just graduated last year, went to South America. Majority of our students do go into college, either to further their study in dance, it's pretty much expected for contemporary students to have gone to college and to major in contemporary, because those companies are much more interested in an older, more mature student who has done a college program and even a graduate program. So there's more latitude in contemporary for older dancers to get jobs. But we have had success with our own college ballet graduates getting work, Carolina Ballet, Charlotte Ballet, and other companies in LA and Virginia, and just off the top of my head recently. Other careers, I mean, we have students who, once they leave here, they decide that's it, they're done with dance, and that's fine. They use that discipline and the people skills and the creative problem-solving skills that you get through dance to go into many different fields. Law, doctors, filmmakers. We've had so many students do so many different things. And a lot of them keep one finger, one toe in the world of dance, or even a hand or a foot. They teach, they choreograph, they choreograph not only concert dance, but fashion shows and Disney and opera and tangential choreographic opportunities. Run their own company, become an artistic director to somebody else's company. A lot of them do end up teaching because it's kind of a natural offshoot. Dancers need to take class every day, so there's always a big need for dance teachers, not only in college or conservatory environments, but in K through 12. A lot of states have strong dance programs in K through 12, private studios. So just off the top of my head, those are what our students are doing out there. They write home once in a while, so so we support them no matter what they're doing. Stay in dance, we love it. Leave dance, do something else, we love it. And of course, a lot of our alum do stay in dance, and then we have them back. They come back and are guest artists here, choreographing or teaching. Jewel Lane, who's one of our wonderful alum, is back now teaching our contemporary students. So, long-winded answer.
Sure. The ballet dancer has the opportunity to join a company program after the junior year of high school. Is there a way to still get their high school degree from UNCSA?
You guys can talk about that because we've done that before. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Couple ways.
We have a non-residence graduation policy at the School of the Arts. So if an opportunity that's kind of needs to be approved by the School of Dance and then academics, we coordinate an online experience through various providers for the remaining graduation requirements that student has. When they finish those courses, we get the documentation and transcripts, and then we award a diploma. Students have a year to do that program, a year to complete their degree work.
I will say, when it comes to college for ballet, it's really hard to be right here. So I know you don't necessarily recommend after they've been here for 4 years to come back, but we're just not really finding something that's way better.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, I'm not going to mention any names, but we have a student. We have a student
Yes.
who graduated high school last year, and who went elsewhere. Did not enjoy the program for a semester, and decided to transfer back here. And you know, I think our program is the best in the country. I have to say, I'm prejudiced toward it. The training is just so good. The performance opportunities are so good.
So when
It's really
whenever you look at
true.
any other, it always has to be, is it better? You know, I mean, it's never, is it good,
is.
is it better?
You observe the
Right,
classes in
is
the
it
ballet,
better?
you're like, and this is this university, really?
But again, like I said, it just depends on the student. After 4 years, some students are really ready to say goodbye to this place, and they need a fresh environment. And some students, you know, they'd be fine to come back. and they would be able to finish college in 3 years if they've done even at least a year of high school here.
That's interesting.
We can kind of give them advanced placement for a year of their arts work. They would just have to complete all their college academics within the 3-year time frame. So,
I have another rep question, or I guess you call them workshop, whatever's in the spring, but, so in the fall, this is for contemporary students, they had rep that they were in the whole fall. And then they had that performance at the end, but this, because there's like a winter and then a spring, so there's rep on their schedule. If they're in, for example, a dance at winter, for the winter dance, does that replace that rep on their schedule? And like, would rehearsals for winter dance be during that time, and then, but then after winter dance, they'd be back in rep for spring? Is that how that works?
yeah.
Okay.
Fall is a little bit different than spring, and it's different for ballet, and it's different for contemporary, and it's different for freshmen, and it's different for upperclassmen. So it's a little bit complicated. But in the spring semester, which we're in now, students might be in winter dance and spring dance, and that would be their rep. That would be their rep grade, is those two major performances. They might be in neither winter dance or spring dance, and then they're in a rep class. Either it lasts the whole semester, there's one group that's with one faculty and they're with her the entire semester, because we already know who's cast in spring dance. And the group that is not in winter or spring, she chose a cohort that's going to be working with her the whole semester. There's another cohort that's going to be with Jewel Lane. He's here half the semester, so he'll be doing the first half. So students are with him. They might be in neither main stage, but they will be with him for the first half, resulting in the performance in March. And then Maurizio Nardi comes, he's our Graham teacher, and he'll have another cohort from after spring break till the end. So students are either in Jewel or Maurizio or Abby Yeager or one of the performances or both performances, but they're in something. They're in something both halves of the semester. There would not be a time when they're just not in anything. They're either in the performance or they're in rep class. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right.
I saw on the schedule, and this doesn't necessarily apply, but that there was a rep on Saturdays from
Okay,
10 to
so
1?
so this is new this year. We are giving the rep course more credits than it used to get. When we redid our curriculum for this year, we all agreed, the faculty agreed, that the students were not getting enough credits for their rep work. College students were only getting 1 credit, and high school students were only getting a fraction of that because of the different way high school and college work. We felt that wasn't enough for especially students in main stage. They are just rehearsing 5 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. That's a lot of time for the amount of credits they were getting. So we bumped up the credit. What that means for rep classes is they were not in rep class enough to earn 2 credits, or a fraction of 2 credits. So we added some additional rep rehearsal time to the rep classes, either on Saturday mornings or on Monday evenings. We started that in the fall with students who were in ballet rep. They had additional time. Was not needed for contemporary because of the hours. They went all afternoon, so it equaled 2 credits for them. But what we found is that additional rehearsal time really benefits the students in rep class. It gives them more of an experience of more time to develop the piece that they're working on. So it's not just Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, it's got that extra rehearsal. And we really saw a difference in the show in December, seeing the rep classes with that additional time. We felt the quality had gone way up in the work. So we're gonna keep that.
Got a strong affirmation for the comment you made about the training here at UNC. Well, I guess both of you. And then,
Jumping person emoji.
3 exclamation points. How many weeks of summer intensive do you recommend that your dance students do and where?
Okay. There are so many great,
Where?
there's so, I mean, there are so many great summer intensives. The majority of them are 5 weeks. 5 weeks seems to be the most of them are 5 weeks. Some are 4, a couple are 6. Houston, where my daughter went for 2 summers, is 6, and that it's long, but it kind of takes up a big chunk of the summer where dancers can't really afford to go a whole lot of weeks without taking class because it's just really very hard to get back into shape if you take too much time off. So I do recommend one of those 4, 5, or 6 week programs in the middle of the summer just to keep up with that staying in shape piece of it. And then, on either side of that, between when it starts and then after when it's over, there's a few weeks. I mean, if a student is, they could try to find a week-long intensive or just do some swimming, do some biking, get into a Pilates class, just, keep the aerobic sense of the body and stretching a little bit. I think that's adequate. But I do recommend one of those longer summer programs if you can afford it. If you can't, there are a lot of options at these summer programs, especially as a student gets a little bit older. They can become a dorm counselor in our program here, and other programs are always looking for students that are able to maybe take 1 class a day, but then work in the program as well. That makes it affordable. I know American Dance Festival, the ADF in Durham, does that. So there are ways, and a lot of the summer programs do offer some scholarship. Some of them can be quite generous. So you just have to look into that. So that's my recommendation for summer, is yes, it's a good idea.
I have a few questions about Winter Rep again. So, is Winter Rep contemporary students only, or ballet students included? I think you spoke to this earlier.
There are 4 different rep classes for students not in winter dance, 2 ballet, and 2 contemporary. So
And when is the rep performance?
for the first half of the semester, it will be on March 4th in DeMille at 2 and at 4. And then at the end of the year, that second chunk, that will be on the 29th of April in the Friedman Theater, also at 2 and at 4.
Are 9th and 10th graders allowed to audition for winter and spring shows?
If there's an open audition and they're called to the audition, they are allowed. Often, the dean and faculty will confer and do a call or a cast list and forward that to the choreographer. It depends on the piece.
Do current students need to audition for UNCSA's Summer Contemporary Intensive if they want to attend?
They do not need to audition. Any current student would be accepted into the program, but they do need to apply. And again, we'll blast this email from Ashley out to the student body, so they have the information if they're interested in our summer program.
And how do they become a dorm counselor?
Question for Ashley. He can direct them. I believe that they need to be over 18 to do that. And there's again, from personal experience, it's a little bit of a complicated application process for that. That goes through our HR department. There's just a lot of forms and paperwork, and most of it can be done online. My daughter did this last summer, and it was a really worthwhile experience. But the application process, it does take a little bit of time. So I'm just forewarning people.
What's Ashley's last name?
Lindsay,
Ashley Lindsay.
Ashley Lindsay. Would you make a note that he should include information on internships or dorm council that he can include in the email.
How and by who were students selected to participate in winter dance and the various rep pieces?
Okay. I'll start with the Robert Battle piece, which was for contemporary students. All contemporary students went to an open audition. The cast was selected by the stager. The faculty had nothing to do with the selection. It was a true audition where the students were selected by an outside professional. The Anouk van Dyke piece, it's our Dutch choreographer. She is not able to come until a few weeks from now. She had asked that her cast be only the most advanced dancers that were the most familiar with the counter technique, which is what she teaches and what Kira Blazik teaches in our school. So the decision was made by me that her cast would be our college seniors who have had the most experience in what she's looking for. Sleeping Beauty for ballet majors. That cast was selected by the ballet faculty, Ms. Draw and Mr. Kozadayev. They looked through all the students, have knowledge of the students, and selected the students they wanted. I'm gonna lose my voice any second. Similar process for Stephanie Martinez. All right.
Save your voice, take a break. Take a moment.
I need a cough drop is what I need if anybody has one.
Haven't been. It's the right time of year.
I don't talk this much usually.
While you're coughing, I do have one. I'll just offer some, you good?
I'll take a few. I'll take whatever you have.
Have a variety.
The traveling pharmacy.
I don't know how long it's been in my purse.
Oh,
At least it's closed, not full of lint. I think I've said it to you before, but I just want to kind of say that I think, and this is specifically for contemporary, and I know there's questions about, can first years audition, and I think that the way you have set up the first semester for contemporary students is phenomenal. I think it is so impactful that they are not eligible to audition for different things. I think it makes their transition into the school so much easier. They're not overwhelmed. They have a chance to become comfortable with the teachers and with themselves without that anxiety of, am I good enough? Am I going to get in this piece? Am I going to, that's removed from it so they can really just kind of sink themselves in without that. I think that's amazing. And I think it's done an amazing job of helping them to build bonds with each other without that, so even now, they're eligible to audition for things, and there's a little bit of that kind of, oh, well, you got in, I didn't get in, but they've already established friendships without that and support without that they're able to be, I'm sad that I'm not in, but I'm so happy that you are because you're amazing, because they already know each other and love each other, and I just think you did good.
Thanks. I mean, it's worked out great to have that foundational rep. For contemporary, it's a little bit different for ballet. Often students will come in at a very advanced level. And it just would not be good to hold them back. And we need everybody, all hands on deck for Nutcracker. So that kind of idea would not work for ballet. We talked about doing that for the entire year for contemporary new students, but we have to balance that out with the need for them to experience auditions and just the reality of getting selected for something or not, and how to deal with that psychologically is important as well. But again, we do try to provide the best performing experience. If it's not main stage, really, the rep classes produce wonderful, wonderful work. And so we're, again, with this additional rehearsal time for rep, we really are trying to make sure that every student feels like they're getting a good performing experience throughout the year, because not everybody can be in everything. It's just the reality of the field.
So I had a couple retracted.
Answered already.
That's good, maybe her voice will make it
Oh,
through the
maybe
day.
I'll make it. I know I have my pedagogy class this afternoon, and that's all me talking, so.
No, no. No talking to them.
Bring my Ricola with me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're so
It was really
welcome.
helpful for all the parents.
Thanks,
if-
Brendan and Corey.
If there's any questions are still lingering or didn't get answered, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer questions. Email is the best way to reach me. And that saves my voice as well.
And just a reminder, we do have the Student Affairs Focused Coffee Talk next Friday. Brock and I will be there with Dr. Ford, who oversees all of Student Affairs. Catherine McMillan will also be there. There may be a couple other folks from Student Affairs. And I will be sending out soon all of the commencement details. I think I think those will all be, or are finalized and can be sent out Friday. But if they're not, it might be a week or so later. I did just get one more question. How was the Stephanie Martinez piece selected?
Okay. It was similar to Sleeping Beauty. After Sleeping Beauty was put together, the dean and the faculty looked through the other ballet students and made a selection of a group for her to look at. And then she winnowed that down to the group she actually is going to work with. So we try to do open auditions when we can, but sometimes when a stager is here for a very short amount of time, like Miss Martinez, she's only here a week. She has to make a piece in a week. The audition process would take up a couple of days, so it's just better for the dean and faculty to make a determination so she can hit the ground running and use her time. So we do try to alternate between audition process and ones that are selected by the dean and faculty.
I have another question.
Yep.
About semester grades. Besides attendance, how does each faculty member decide if a student deserves an A- instead of an A? And then the person said, I'm sure it depends on the faculty member.
It depends on the faculty member, and the faculty should be handing out syllabi in their courses that would detail any kind of grading template or rubric that they would have. And, any questions about a grade, the student is welcome to ask the teacher, what is your grading policy? Why did I get an A-? And, the faculty would be able to justify, hopefully, their decision for that. Good. We can end on that,
Yeah.
that A- question.
Still pretty good.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.